just first of all, I'd just like to welcome everyone for kind of joining us on the webinar today. For those of you who don't know myself, my name's Ben Hawkey. I'm the CEO of Real Growth and Connect. They're two New Zealand companies that specialize in helping real estate agents do like two simple things. One, we help them improve their marketing so they can build their database and of future vendor opportunities. And two, we help agents and teams manage homeowner leads and convert more of those opportunities into listings. And although it's not the topic of today's call is all about recruitment. If your business has capacity to take on more opportunities, or your sales teams need some more support around nurturing and converting those opportunities into listings, feel free to reach out to me after this via email. I'll be sending out this recording after the webinar, so you can watch it again or share it with anyone else. Anyway, moving on. Today's webinar, we're going to be covering how you, as a business owner, can effectively recruit top agents to your team or office and ultimately grow your business in 2025. So to help walk us through this, we've got Jason Carr, founder of Real Estate Recruitment and Carr Consulting, who's joining us on the webinar today. So thanks for joining us, Jason.
Thanks, Ben. It's a real privilege to be able to chat to you today. And those who join, I know that I've been contacted by a lot of the CEOs, both in New Zealand and Australia, who are expecting the recording of this very, very shortly, so they can send out to a lot of their team members throughout Australasia, which is exciting. It shows there's a real passion for this, and it's an understanding the way how to invite good people into your business. And so it's a very exciting. I love what I do. Been doing it for 17 years. And it's a real passion of mine, and it's taken me throughout New Zealand, Australia, Boston, New York, Vancouver, to name a few, doing this. I've had the privilege of seeing and working with some of the leading real estate company owners throughout the world, and it's a very exciting thing. It's the good energy, if you know what I mean. Good people with good energy, and that's what we're selling here, really, aren't we? At the end of the day, good energy.
I appreciate it. You've done the introduction for yourself. I don't even need to, you didn't even need to do the introduction. But basically, just to remind everyone while we're here today, Jason's going to be sharing his insights, and he's going to be providing some actionable steps that you can implement into your business so you can start building your team and recruiting top talent in 2025. If you've got any questions throughout this webinar, feel free to drop the questions in the chat, the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen, and we can answer those questions at the end of the call. But just to kick things off, Jason, do you mind sharing a little bit about your background and how you came to specialize in helping real estate businesses recruit talent?
Yeah, great question, Ben. I've been in the industry now for almost coming up 18 years now, and I always had a calling for it, even when I was young. But I always knew that I'd work in the industry, but not necessarily in sales. I have a background, left school, went into the military, where I was fortunate enough to be to train some sort of elite soldiers in that time, and work with some of the best and around the world. And then from there came out, worked just in sales for a while, and then I got into in professional coaching in rugby league. So I've been lucky enough to be coaching staff with the St George Dragons back in the mid-90s in the NRL in Australia, and also the international coach of Fiji, where I spent 2.5 years over there living in Fiji, coaching there, and that in a sort of a high level capacity, and also working. One of my favorite jobs, I used to, 23 years ago now, I was the general manager for the Mad Butcher group of companies. So I, learned a lot from old Sir Peter Leach now, and we're still in contact. But just my journey has been about coaching people, and that's what I really, really enjoy. My part-time, I suppose, my part-time job, but a job I enjoy, which is I'm the chairman for the Whangarai Riding for the Disabled, which is close to my heart, and helping people achieve things, and to really inspire a bit of hope and trust, and help energize business owners, especially because what I've found after doing this for 17, 18 years around the world, it's a lonely job being a business owner. It's hard putting yourself out there and getting them to transfer from not just a salesperson who happens to own a real estate business, but a true entrepreneur, and how do we then become those leaders of change? And what does that look like and feel like? And how do we explain it to someone when we're sitting in front of them having a chat about their next career move? Not looking for unhappy agents. The old story is that, are you happy where you are? There's one thing I can say to a business owner right now: please don't ever ask that. It's none of your business whether they're unhappy or not. It's about selling who you are and how you can grow someone's business. And we're talking about, you opened up talking about, elite agents or good agents working for you, but I think anyone can be a great elite agent if they're led right. It's nothing better working with someone who you can just see the light switch on as an agent and away they go. And you're part of that journey and understanding where they are and what they want to do and having their back. There's a lot of promises made out there in this world from people, from business owners to agents, that sometimes don't get delivered. I put it this way: it's like, and I'm not going to take anything away from a salesperson, but when you're selling a home, you can see a home. You can see a home, you can feel it, you can touch it, you can add a feeling to it. But when it comes to selling yourself as a leader, it's difficult and it's challenging. What questions should I be asking with a business, with an agent? How do I get them on the phone? Where do I meet them? The obligatory coffee at a coffee shop just doesn't cut it. I always tell the people I'm coaching is taking someone for a $7 coffee at a coffee shop is like taking your first date to McDonald's drive-through. Don't do it. And I want to talk today a lot about the psychology of change for a real estate agent and what that actually means to them. And when you ring up an agent, what are they actually feeling when this phone call comes through? And I've done a little bit of work with some psychologists over the years, and it's almost paramount to having an affair of actually meeting someone who it doesn't feel right because the business owner is on opposition. Am I doing the wrong thing? And that really brings up some emotional baggage when we're talking to an agent. How do we do that correctly? How do we do it professionally? How do we I'm not going to say a contract of value. How do we create a value proposition? For want of a bit of a word, a listing presentation that inspires you as the business owner and that wants to take that particular product to market, to inspire and lead other agents and to gather that market share. We obviously call it, I'm speaking a lot here, but this sort of opening thing is, but we talk about recruitment. I want to get rid of that word, because recruitment, this isn't recruitment per se these days. I call this mergers and acquisitions, because every agent that works for another business is a small business entity unto themselves. And what we're trying to do is invite that part of that market share, if we're talking corporate sort of stuff here, is we want to invite that market share back into your business. So it's more of a merger or an acquisition. I'm not talking about becoming a business partner. I'm talking about more of inviting that market share, that business energy into your business. And if we're using the words merger or acquisition, it brings a new word into the game where real estate agents are quite keen to have a chat about. So rule number one, don't take them for a coffee. If someone's worth 400, 500,000 GCI to you and you want to spend $7 on them, go away. You're not in the ballpark. Meeting somewhere where you can actually have a nice, intelligent conversation where they don't think they're going to be seen by their opposition or be seen by their boss. A coffee shop is noisy, usually, and you can't, it's very hard to actually sit down and having a private conversation about what your needs and what their needs and wants are.
Makes complete sense, Jason. And I know you spoke about that last time when we were at the conference. That's your kind of on that first question that I was going to ask you, which was, where do you believe most business owners make mistakes when it comes
I think the first mistake, I think the first mistake they make is not identifying what they are and what they offer. not in a contract, not in the contract term. We'll talk about that at a later date. It's about actually what type of people do I like working with? If I was to sit around my office right now and look at the people who I enjoy working for and working with. They mightn't be the best salespeople, but they may have a good energy and bring some good energy to the business. They might, bring a laugh and quite social, and they bring a team together. What type of person do I like working with? And what are their traits? And who are they in my area? And the way that psychology is usually produced around with business owners, that if I go and speak to other agents in my area, their business owners are going to get upset and we're going to create a war, right? Well, guess what? You're already at war with them because they'll be ringing your people. And today I want to touch a bit on that retention thing as well, which is probably just as important as the growth of mergers and acquisitions. Yeah, how do we look at preparing our team that we have so we can grow and know that they're going to be okay with the growth, with the growth of the business, and what does that look like for them?
Yeah.
And a good leader will always sit back and say, how am my team going to react if we start to grow, and what is that going to feel like for them? There might be 5 or 6 of them on the team now. We go to 10 or 20. Are they feel they're going to feel unloved and go somewhere else? How do we prepare for that, and what does that look like? So part of my coaching and training is about the preparation for this before we go to actually inviting people into the business, and finding the bravery in ourselves to pick up the phone and make a call. What
does that call sound like, Jason? So obviously you're saying you need to be...
I know what it sounds like mostly to most business owners, right? And usually, hi, it's Jason Carr from XYZ Real Estate. Look, I own such and such real estate. Look, are you happy where you are? Because I'd like to meet you for a coffee.
So that's what not to do.
What not to do. And the answer you usually get back, and if there's anyone listening out there, the answer is usually, thank you so much for the call, but I'm loyal and I'm happy where I am.
Right.
So you've created a negative response from your first phone call. You didn't mean to, but it's just how it's come across, because agents get a bit scared. Change. I don't want change. Everything's going okay at the moment. Don't upset me. Go away. And this is the nice way I'm going to tell you.
So let's flip it. If I'm an agent, how would you call me?
Oh, one of the things I might use is, Ben, it's Jason Carr here from XYZ Real Estate. Look, you probably you may know who I am. Obviously, I own such real estate business. Look, part of my business is growth, and what I want to do is help grow real estate agents. Now, Ben, you'd be a young gentleman. You'd be an entrepreneur, wouldn't you? Yep. And like any good entrepreneur, you'd never say no until you knew what you were saying no to, correct?
Correct.
In real estate, don't we have a saying, present all contracts?
Yes.
Yes, we do. All I'm doing is just, I'm offering, there's an opportunity here I'd love to share with you. And I've created something that I think is very special to show you. And look, Ben, at worst case scenario, I'd love to be your plan B. Would that be okay? Yeah. There's a thing called pressure and release. Now, pressure and release is actually brought around horse training, believe it or not. When we train a horse, is that we put pressure on the horse, and when the horse reacts to that pressure and does what it's told, we release the pressure. And what we do is often as leaders is that we put pressure on people, on agents. You've got to do this. You've got to make your phone calls. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. You've got to do that. Oh, pressure, but there's no release from that. So every conversation that we have to do, like when most business owners have obviously been salespeople, when they're in a listing presentation, obviously that's a pressure situation. And the way that a good agent will get that listing is by, of course, establishing trust through the knowledge that they've answered and released the pressure of any questions they have or might have during that process. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Right? And it's the same with these human beings. We're asking them to step outside their comfort zone. We're asking them to change their lives. And so we've got to be very careful and understand how we do that.
Yeah.
So if you want to meet an agent, take them to a nice hotel somewhere. where there is a lovely sort of bar coffee lounge that they have in most big restaurants. There's usually good parking out the front where they can park. And normally, you're not going to bump into anyone from the business, inside that environment. And it's usually a quiet environment during the day where you can actually connect with the agent. All right, you might want to buy them lunch instead of a breakfast. They might want a coffee, that's okay, right? But you might want to offer them a lunch or something more substantial to show that you're willing to spend more than $7.50 on a coffee. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you talked about before, you've got an opportunity you wanted to, share with me, things like that. And I think it comes, you mentioned it before around talking in terms of mergers, acquisitions, and making it a business decision for
Correct.
the agent and not an emotional decision that I'm loyal.
Correct.
Can you walk us through this approach in more detail and in terms of that, that business decision approach and why you found it so effective in your business in terms of recruiting agents?
Of course. So basically, what I do with the car consulting part of the business, my job is to go and work with business owners to create and look for the hidden gems in their business that might excite another agent to come and join them. Now, every business has these, but don't understand what they are and what the agents are looking for. And so when you work with me, you get to understand every agent brings a certain amount of gross commission to the business. Now, I'll give you a tip. No one has seen more real estate agents than I have over the 17 years, right? From all around Australasia and different parts of North America. And the one thing I've learned is that a lot of us business owners attack this approach by, this is what I've done, this is how I've achieved this, and this is what the brand can do for you. Now, I know there's a lot of CEOs picking up this podcast very shortly and sending out to all their hundreds of franchises. So I'll be careful what I say here. It isn't necessarily about the brand. All right? It's more about the human being behind the brand, the particular business owner. All right? Yes, the brands offer some very good tools out there, but tools can be bought for any independent as well, just as good as any others these days. I mean, the market's being flooded with opportunities out there, and people like yourself, you've found a niche and you're very, very good at a niche, and that's why I've got some of the leading clients, my leading business owners throughout Australasia starting to work with you, right? Okay, because there's a great opportunity there to add to what, and here's a room. If the people are listening out there, write this thing down, to create and to be able to sell your engine room of your business.
Engine room, tell us more.
The engine room of the business is basically led by the business owner and all the people that surround your business, surround the business, both full-time, or people often use outsourcing with PAs and all that sort of stuff. And what that means for an agent, and not only what it means, but what it delivers in dollar value. Okay, so back to that thing I was saying before. Let's just say we're going to work with we've got a $300,000 real estate agent out there whose gross commission is, that's the total gross commission they bring into the office is 300,000. So, and let's work on a 50-50 split, for want of a better word, because the math is a bit easier, right? Okay, so 150,000 goes in my hotel room share just sinks. Is 150,000. I know there's franchise fees possibly, but let's just work on the gross. 150 goes to the office and 150,000 goes to the agent. What agents are starting to realize now and asking the question, if the business has taken $150,000 off me, where does that go? What part of that money that I invest with them comes back to me? So I want, if the people are listening out there, if I was an agent working for you and I walked into your office and said, hey, last year I wrote 300,000 gross commission, you took 150, where did my 150 I gave you go to help me grow? It's a very, very confronting question for most business owners, right? And they'll think about, well, some office space and the office chairs and the PA and that sort of stuff, and they'll justify it and things, right? Okay, because there is a desk fee. I'm lucky I sit on many boards of directors of real estate companies throughout Australasia, so I know the numbers better than most, right? And what that looks like. And, you know, every investment we do, we've got to make sure that we've got a return on investment for that. But where is some of that investment going? And how can you justify it? And how can you show a return on that investment? And that's something during the training we really delve into. A lot of business owners give a lot of leads away. I'll give you leads. Well, but what does that mean? By the way, in my experience, giving an agent or calling the word lead is almost death. I get my business owners to change that word to an RTC, a reason to call. It softens the approach, right? Often when you give an agent a lead, they've already thought about it and they've already got the listing in their head and banked and spent the money before they've even talked to the person. And when they don't get that lead and it doesn't turn into a listing, they get angry with the business owner for wasting their time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, from your experience, you're talking about building an engine room, something that's of value to the agent who's thinking about moving. And from where I'm gathering where you're going to go with this, it's like, hey, okay, I do 300,000 in GCI. Where is that 150 going? That's going to help me take me to the next level. Like,
that's correct.
What businesses, maybe as an example, like what businesses have you seen that have done it well? You don't have to give me their names, but like what kind of things are they doing to reinvest in their agents,
right,
to take them to the next level? Just some tactical kind of advice that a business owner, a manager can go, well, I love what you're saying there. I can maybe apply some of that into my own business.
Right. So, you know, for example, I'm connected with a company in Australia, which I know you know of, is Meeson. Meeson is a call center based in Melbourne, with with all their callers based in Melbourne. I have a lot of clients obviously throughout Australia. I'm actually flying off to Melbourne on Sunday. I work with the company, the Jealous Craig, some of the Jealous Craig brands over there, and also, which was a high-end sort of a brand in Melbourne. Also, the #1 Barry plant office in Australia, a guy called Spiro Drossis. He's a guy that you should look up. I worked with him for about 8 or 9 years now. We started about a $4 million GCI business with 600 on his rent roll. We're now at 22 million GCI and 7,000 on the rent roll. He's also on the speaking circuit. Well, he specializes in the EBU structure, the effective business unit structures. How to bring an agent who's writing 300 to 500,000, put a sales associate alongside them, and then very quickly, usually within a year, we know they'll be between 900 and $1 million GCI for the structure we put in behind them. The call center that we apply, centers that we can outsource and then turn on the leads or turn on the calls or turn them off when we don't need them. His business, for example, the lead generating centers that we use, we've got to turn them off a lot of time because the agents simply can't simply can't keep up with the appraisals. All right, and it's fortunately for myself, a lot of these lead generating companies come to me because they know the clients I work with, and if they get them on board, then they usually have an in to the rest of the businesses. But you know, there are your lead generating the big. I'm going to answer that with a question. Sometimes a lot of business owners get frustrated because they give away leads, right? And the agents don't appreciate them. And sometimes it can be 20, 30, 40% of their business. And everyone gets a bit frustrated and angry with us. But if we don't understand what we're giving away in a monetary term of leads that turn into sales, which most business owners don't, they don't actually understand the value of what they give away. So part of the training is understanding that, that if you come and join us, I will be able to provide you with four listings a year. Maybe from the rent roll, maybe from this or maybe from that. Now, my systems, I talk about the big companies I work with, but I get the most enjoyment out of the smaller businesses that I work with and seeing them really develop into successful businesses. My challenge with most of my businesses is I say I want to get them to #1 in their market share and keep them there. Now, unfortunately, a lot of businesses or franchisers don't teach business owners how to recruit or how to do mergers and acquisitions because they don't know how to do it themselves. You know, and it's frustrating for the franchise owners or for the independents not knowing exactly how do we do this? How do we create a value proposition? You'll hear me say this lots, a working document that we present, that we teach you how to present, that you're actually excited to do. It's like having that amazing property that you list, you know, the one that maybe gets recognized in the Herald or in the newspaper somewhere. It's that one where, you know, you're getting 50 to 70 people through the open home that you're actually excited to sell. Imagine if you had that document that you could sit in front of a potential agent and talk to.
So we're saying almost like a blueprint, a
A
game plan.
blueprint based around your business, and everyone's a bit different. Yeah. Yeah. And not try and recruit. You know, I've seen some silly contracts going out there at the moment, you know, to agents offering them huge amounts of commission structure. Please don't go and get caught up in that game, giving away more of your revenue. If an agent, in my experience, and again, I've been doing this in the last 8 years, my business has moved over $500 million of gross commission to our clients, just the last 8 years alone. All right. And we never try to recruit the business through commission splits because it kills the business. If a business owner will offer more commission if they don't understand what their worth to a potential agent is. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so I know some of the big corporates are saying, go out and recruit just to get market share. Well, that suits them. You know, what it is, it's about these days is making sure the business is viable and that it's liquid. You know, and you know, if I was to say to people listening out there that I could help you get your business within 18 months to increase it by $1 million, $2 million gross commission, and do your math on that, and what does that look like and feel like? And let's come back to this feeling. You can't sell anything without putting a feeling to it. I've always sort of maintained there's always investors out there, so put those to one side. But if you've got mum and dad and the kids coming to buy a property, you often find they're putting a feeling to that property. Would you agree?
Yeah, of course.
And your job is then to negotiate to get the end result, but it's all done through a feeling. I can see the kids here, that I feel the kids are going to enjoy the swimming pool, that sort of stuff. And that's what we're doing here when we're mergers and acquisitions, is about creating a feeling to something. No one will change without a feeling.
Yeah.
And we've got to really identify what those are and what that looks like. And and every individual does things a bit differently, right? No, I mean, you know, it's being what the agent's interested in. At the same time, understanding what the business has to get out of it as well. And sometimes people chase an agent because of the chase, not because of what that person can do for the business, if that makes sense. You know, it becomes, I want him, I want to win, I want to get the win, I want to, how about he or she, I want to get the win, I want to get the win. But that person mightn't be the right person for the business.
Yeah.
And it's okay to say no to someone. Yeah, it's okay to say. And another thing with business owners, and this is the most important, and Spiro won't mind me telling you this, and Spiro's on the speaking circuit around the world, around Australasia, is that when I first went to him, he said, Jason, no one's going to want to work with me. I've been the top salesperson out there. You know, I've beaten all these guys in deals. They're going to hate me because we put a thought process into ourselves about what people think of us in this industry, maybe in all industries, but this is what I know the most, right? Yeah. What are they thinking about me? And the thing is that most agents don't mind meeting with you. You've just never given them the opportunity to.
Yeah.
And because it's hard to be turned down by our peers. you know, and agents, business owners make it, and then business owner says, right, we're gonna recruit today. We're gonna make a whole lot of phone calls. Well, that's not a professional approach. Finding out, doing your research on the top 10 agents or the agents that you would love to be. And I'll tell you, the best tier that's moving at the moment are those 250 to 350 agents. And I believe if you want to build a great business, having lots of those type of people in your business, right, easy to manage usually, and get on with their days, and we can help them get them to 500,000, whatever it is, brilliant. You know, it is hard to move the top agents, you know, it's not easy. Because they're embedded into brands and things, but a lot of business going, so if I've got $1 million agent, it will take away all my problems. But if that $1 million agent leaves, you've got all those problems again. But if you spread your risk over 3 or 4 agents, we don't have that ebb and flow. And one of the big things business owners tell me, Bill, if my top 2 agents left, that's my business done. Well, that's your fault. You're not spreading your risk as a business owner, what that should look like and where that should be.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Makes sense. And I can see the types of people that are on and the names of the people joining our call today. And can I run a bit of a scenario through you? Say I'm an agent, I'm doing 250 a year, and you're going to have 3 or 4 conversations with people like myself who are doing 250, 300 a year. And you've called me, and you've managed to you managed to get me to not a cafe, but to the hotel lobby for
hope that doesn't sound too seedy there for you, Ben.
For a lunch, and you're going to sit down with me for a lunch, and I'm open to hearing it. You've identified that me personally, I'm the type of agent who really I'm motivated financially to grow. That's what motivates me. It's not so much the environment. I'm hungry. I'm a hungry agent, and I want to take my business to the next level. Can you put yourself in a business owner's point of view and pitch to me, and what questions would you ask me, and how would you position it, and how would you use emotion, and how would you structure this? You said EBU, the engine room. How can you take me to the next step?
Right, brilliant.
Yeah, because I just want to give an actionable example.
For sure.
Okay, I get what you're saying, Jason. I'm going to go after 250, 300 agents, but what do I say?
What do you say? Brilliant. Good question. Righto. So there's a 4-step process I teach here. So if the people listening got their pens ready, number 1 is relax. Relax the situation. Don't talk about real estate for a second. Number 1, first question, do not ask what the market's doing. If you don't know what the market's doing and they don't know what the market's doing, you shouldn't be having this meeting anyway, right? No one cares, all right? But just relax, just find some connections. Establish who maybe, sales people who own business, people who own sales are usually good at reading people, right? To start to read the person, what are their interests, sport, family, where are they? Start to try and create a connection somewhere, right? And of course, they know this. The people listening will know this, yeah? The next step is disturb. Now be careful. Now we're in the minefield. A lot of business will open up and say, so why have you come to see me? Well, because you've asked, right? Yeah? And this is when the nerves come in. And this is where learning how to do this correctly is so important. Establishing, I might ask the question, so Ben, you're doing really well there. Congratulations. And first of all, thank you for seeing me about this, because this means the world to me. I've been a little bit nervous about this conversation with you. 2 things just happened there. I know Ben will be nervous. So I want to make him feel like that he's got the room. He's got control, or you've got control. All right. And I want to see him humble in my approach. The best recruiting people I've ever worked with have got this real humbleness about them. It's not about them to begin with. It's about you. and your wants and needs are right now in this part of the meeting the most important thing to me. So tell me, Ben, you've been doing really well. I'm really impressed. What's been working really well for you?
Well, marketing's been going really well.
Well, tell me about your marketing. Oh, I'm really excited about this. Tell me about your marketing.
Yeah, we've got some really good ads. Every time we do a property listing, typically I can turn that into another couple of listings. We've got a great system there to turn more listings into future listings. I've been hitting the phones pretty hard and keeping in touch with the database.
Ben, do you mind if I write a couple of these points down?
Sure.
Because and this is another thing for the people listening. Have a pad. Ask permission before you write anything down. You're only ever going to write things that are important to you, and you write it in such a way that they can see you writing. Don't be doing this. Now it's an interview. Be open. Oh, so I'll be reiterating. So your telephone, you're great on telephone. Is that correct?
Somewhat, yeah.
Right,
Seem to be a bit of
So
success.
telephone, and you like that approach? Brilliant. I'd love to expand on that later in the conversation. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, cool. And what was the other thing? Your marketing?
Yeah,
social media marketing. Tell me about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been doing a lot of social media marketing for our listings, and typically we generate a lot of inquiries, and I can typically get a few extra listings off the back of our existing listings.
Brilliant. And what type of budget are you using for that?
Typically around 500 to 650 per campaign.
And that's generating how many listings roughly?
So every listing, typically I can pick up another couple of listings off the back.
So this is when our mathematics as a business owner has to come through.
Yeah, can you explain what you're doing and why you're doing this now? Why you're
so basically I've got to understand that, okay, here are some things that are working for you. Right. You're not going to change to do the same. Why would you?
Yeah.
All right. So I have to expand on this.
You got it.
I've got to say, right, he's spending $500. He's getting another 2 listings. Let's just say the average gross commission is $20,000. So he's bringing another $40,000, of which half of that's going to be mine. How can I invest more money to generate him more stuff?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Now I'd also stop in there and say, look, Ben, I know you can list and sell. Where the rubber meets the road, where the closing deals come, you're the man, right?
Appreciate that.
Yeah. But what you need is more opportunities, isn't it?
Yeah, and time.
More people need your help. Would you be? I reckon, see why I've approached you is that I truly believe more people need you.
Right.
Your professionalism.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my job in this meeting, and I'm sort of jumping a little bit here, but just bear with me on this. You know, you're writing, was it 250?
Yeah.
See, I think you're a 450 writer all day. Right?
Right.
Now that extra $200,000, and this is what we're going to talk about later in our meeting here with you, Ben, is that's my responsibility.
Okay.
You're bringing in 250. I get that. You're doing a great job. The extra 200,000, I reckon, I can get you in the next 12 months. I'm going to make that my responsibility. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
How does that make you feel, Ben?
Yeah, it'd be good to do another 200 on top.
How would that make you? You're married with a young family, correct?
Yeah, married. Yeah. Definitely would help.
How would that make your wife feel?
Yeah, she'd be very happy. Maybe she wouldn't have to work full time. Yeah.
And how? Of course, that would probably give her some financial security.
Yeah.
Wow. See how I'm taking that and those sort of psychology part of it. I'm taking away also. I'm putting that loyalty back to your family, not to where you work.
Right. I see what you're doing.
I'm shifting the loyalty, which I know I'm going to come to get. That's going to happen. And if I can stop and tell a quick story, if that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So 25 years ago, I used to be the general manager for the Sir Peter Leach and the Mad Butcher group of companies. Great position. Didn't know the back end of a cow from another. Wasn't my job, right? But after I worked very hard for 3 years. It was the best job I've ever had done. He was a very intense person to work with. Anyone who knows him probably knows that. But it was probably the best training I've ever had in business. When it came time for me to move down to another business in Wellington, I was actually really scared to talk to Pete about it. I love Pete. Loyal, I'd have mowed his lawns if he asked me. You know, loyal, boy, I couldn't, you know, this guy was magic. This guy set me up. And I had a conversation with him. He said to me probably the most incredible words that I've used many times in this industry. He said, Jason, everyone deserves the right to grow. I've been given opportunities in my life and I took them. What sort of man would I be if I didn't let you take your opportunities? I know your family. You deserve this. Congratulations. I'm always going to be here for you. And I thought, wow, now that's a real man.
Yeah.
That's a person who understands that people do have the right to grow. I'd still mow his lawns, by the way, you know, because that loyalty is never going to change.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, just, I mean, this is 26 years ago, just last year, actually 2 weekends ago, he rang me up, you know, for a chat, and he rings me up, we get out for lunch every now and then. That's loyalty, right?
Yeah.
You know, but our loyalty belongs at home.
And so that's what you're trying to do there.
Yeah, yeah.
When you're talking about that feeling, how would that impact you doing another 200?
Of course,
you're bringing my loyalty back to my family.
That's right. I'm shifting that negative thing, right? And that's going to be in the background.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to come back to our conversation, but what happens if we go into one of these meetings, and I hope this resonates with some of the people out there, that we have a meeting with an agent, and they get excited and we get excited, and I'm going to do this and we're going to do that. And then all of a sudden the meeting just goes boom, 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 boom. At that stage, we've lost them, but we don't even know. We leave the meeting going, that was an incredible meeting. And then the person we're speaking to, the young Ben, hops into his car and goes, oh my God, I've just oversold myself. I can't do what I've just said that I'm going to do for Jason. Therefore, I'm going to ghost you and never call you again. Because the agent thinks they have to sell themselves to the business owner during that meeting.
Right.
It's called the oversell. Don't ever let yourself as a business in a mergers acquisition meeting be oversold. Yeah, talk about the things you can do with the agent, potential agent, or expand on, right? Don't get carried away of becoming $1 million agent and what you're going to do. So I'm going to double 2x your business and blah, blah, blah. It's just bullshit. Yeah. We're going to put in proper structure to help build your business. I'm going to invest in you and Ben, right? Because I see potential in you. This comes back to the acquisition. I want to acquire you, but for me to acquire you, I know I'm going to have to spend a bit of money throughout the year. But I'm only going to spend, but really, I'm only spending the money that I would never, you don't tell this to an agent, but I'm not going to spend the money that my money. I'm actually spending more of the money that you're giving me back into you to grow you, right? Yeah. And I'm not going to do it all up front. I'm not going to go and buy you a Rolex watch or anything. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
And you know, it's about or giving you money up front. That's not what this is about. That's the quick fix. And when agents are in trouble, especially they've been in a bit of trouble recently because it's been tough times, they'll look at the quick fix. And they look at the quick fix because they've forgotten your value as a business owner, and that's when they leave. So back to the meeting.
Back to the meeting, yeah.
So basically I'm saying, okay, so social media works for you. That's brilliant. I really want to expand on that. Telephoning obviously works for you. In my background, go, right, I'm going to write that down because I want to expand on that. Okay. Is there any other thing out there that's working for you to get in front of people through your lead generating systems?
No, that's about it. That's
brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you. And tell me, Ben, and I use this scenario sometimes. I have a bag, usually a satchel bag sort of thing. I said, it's a magic bag, Ben. And inside my magic bag, I've shrunk down all the best trainers in the world on any given subject in real estate. So I've got the best listing trainer. I've got the best marketing trainer. I've got the best whatever else trainers there needs to be in real estate. They're all there. They're all shrunk down, except for the time management trainer. He turned up late, so I shot him. All right. Because I don't think agents are time poor. I think agents are task poor.
Right.
Right. What are my $500 tasks versus my $35 an hour tasks? All
Yeah.
right. So I'm going to put that to one side. So tell me, Ben, in your business right now, if I could introduce you to two of the best trainers in real estate for what your wants and needs in your business are required right now, what would they be?
They're probably always looking to improve at the listing table.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Do you mind if I write that down?
Yeah,
Yep.
sure,
You got
sure.
listing training. Great. Great.
Yeah.
What else?
And yeah, definitely probably improve our marketing in terms of getting more appraisals.
Get more appraisal or different avenues maybe to get more appraisals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
different
More
avenues,
lead
different
generation. Maybe
yeah.
what you're saying
Lead
is
generation.
different ways of lead generation and what that looks like. Have you heard of any good ones out there recently?
No.
No? Okay, cool. All right. Now, one thing I've just started doing with a lot of my clients around the world is this. I know that business owners get flooded in their emails every day, every hour of the day of the new, latest lead generating system to help their business grow, right?
Yeah.
They're all out there. I encourage business owners to take an hour of their week and choose a couple and investigate. Right? They should all be talking to you, for example, right? Yep.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and what that could do for their business and what that, because anything like that we can bring in to assist the agent in getting more business, that's value.
Right. Yes. Yeah. What are some value things like? Because I'm just conscious of people's time. What were some, if we kind of,
Yeah.
what are some value things that you would see? You obviously know that I'm somewhat good at leveraging my listings to get more business. I'm pretty good on the phone, but you've noticed that perhaps I'm pretty poor with time management. I spend a lot of time doing the nitty gritty nuts and bolts, and I probably could be outsourcing that. So like what kind of solutions or what would you say is your engine room to help me get that extra 200K that you said you're going to do? How will you invest in me to take me to the
But
next?
yeah, and believe me, that list is long but distinguished. I'm going to have to take that offline with some of these guys if they want to do it because it is quite intense,
Yeah.
right? What's out there. Okay, otherwise I could speak another 4 hours about this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I know. I'm just
And also
conscious.
depending on the market, obviously what works in Auckland sometimes doesn't work in Christchurch, and then what doesn't work in Brisbane, but it does work in Melbourne. At any given time, it all changes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
for some reason, everything has its turn and way it goes and moves and rises and falls. But what you have to be as a business owner is, I think, an early adopter. Be excited about what could be coming out there.
Right.
Now, I know we're getting close to time and what have you, but I was with a couple of CEOs from very large companies just this last week. And again, I'll be with some Australian CEOs next week. And they keep asking me the same question at the moment. So, Jason, you get the opportunity to see outside in what's going on. I said, yep. We get sort of stuck in our own brands. I said, what is the one thing at the moment that is encouraging agents to come and work with someone else? So I said, that's really easy. Energy levels. 100% at the moment, it's your energy levels and being able to refocus who you are and your wants and needs as a leader, and then push that out to the people. You are dealers of energy, ladies and gentlemen, of whoever's out there. You are dealers of energy, and that's what you sell with some, and creating an environment too. I like to say this is that you want to become an agency where you feel safe, where you feel heard and understood, and then good business decisions made around your wants and needs as an agent, because we're all different. Business owners don't tell people how you did it. They're not interested. They want to know how they can do it with your knowledge and expertise. They
Right.
want to know that you have some solutions to their problems. And look, we know sometimes it doesn't work like that. And some people it's hard to change people, and it's frustrating and mad, and you feel like you're running a kindergarten and all those sort of things. That's just life in any business.
Yeah.
You can't be all things to all people. So discover what type of people you like to work with. Be brave enough to go and become the best headhunter, recruiter, merger and acquisition person out in your industry. because that's what makes you money. Sitting there trying to sell 700 to $1 million a year while running a business is mathematically stupid and crazy. When you can go and recruit 3-4 people at doing 250 who cover $1 million, so you can go and play golf on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Some of the businesses I've worked with, they're $35 million agencies, and the owners work from 10 till 2, 4 days a week. And then I have agencies who are writing a $1.2 million a week who tell me they're time poor. It doesn't make sense, does it?
No. Yeah.
It's becoming that leader. You can become a good leader. You can be taught the skills to make things right, and how to become what I call light touch but high reward management.
Yeah.
My business is based around trying to become your partner in this. And like all things, look, 90% of our businesses we work with real estate recruitment have been with us for 15 years. There's a reason for that. My job is to train you to become that leader, become that business, and train you as an individual to want to go out and do this and have the skills to go out, learning new skills, right? And that's all I've done for 17 years. The psychology of this is crazy. It's cool stuff. You learn so much about this. And what normally happens to my clients is that their own agents become very much more effective as well. And producing some and developing the people they have, and developing the people that they want to have, and enjoying the process on the way through. Is that helpful?
It makes sense. And I think one of the unexpected takeaways I took away from today's webinar is what you just said just before, which was energy levels. I thought you were going to say, the new thing is AI, or it's this type of tool. And it's as simple as energy levels.
We're energy beings. We give and receive energy. That's what productive we are. I've seen some they're giving away everything, but the kitchen sink. And even I've created the best looking offices. That's usually a recipe for disaster. Just because you build, they won't come.
Yeah.
They come to a human being leading them.
Yeah. Well,
and energy levels.
Is there anything else you're going to want to add on this before we kind of wrap things up for today, Jason? I personally have taken, a lot away from your insights, just expanded on what you've already kind of spoke about in previous conferences that I've heard you speak at. If you've got any questions, first off, anyone on this call, just drop them in that Q&A box or the chat below, and we can ask Jason those questions. So feel free to add those questions. But while we wait for any questions, I just want to say one key learning that I took away, in addition to the energy levels, is that business owners need to be focusing on the value that they provide the agent for them when they're joining their office. What value are you going to be providing them? And what are you going to invest in them, whether it's time, resources, skills, etc., to take them from 250 to 400, rather than just kind of saying, hey, we've got the best offices, or we've got a great culture, or we'll give you a higher commission split. Whatever. It's talking about how can you invest in me and take me to the next level.
And usually these documents can be 16, 17 pages long. But they can talk about what the offer is and the investment and what the return is. Also, then you can talk to some of the, dare I say it, the culture of the business too, and what we'd like to do and things, and who we support and that sort of stuff, and what that looks like. We'd be surprised what people are interested in. And, I've just done one of the biggest moves in real estate, I believe, in Australasia. I know it's quite a bit out there around New Zealand, especially what's happened with one of the big businesses in Auckland here, and one of the biggest changes. And, what I can say, if there's any agents listening out there, is to be professional when you're being asked by another business owner. Be gentle. It's just a process. Be brave. Find out what else is going on. A lot of business owners say to me, my clients, my agents have been called by such and such and such and such. And I said, but they're not leaving. Yeah, well, okay, that's great. But why aren't they leaving? Well, then write that down. That could be something really good that you're doing well that you're not even recognizing.
Yeah.
And understand that, we don't own people. They flow into our lives and flow out. Don't get angry when an agent leaves. Do not get angry when an agent leaves. You will have 2 more leaving straight after. Keep the door open, have the opportunity to invite them back in. Find out why they are leaving and what you can do better in a possible exit interview. Don't put the pressure on them because they've already made their mind up, right? I've had there's been some horrible things of this going around sometimes, of business owners, locking people in a room for 3 hours and getting into them, Don't be that person. It gets out there and says that you're not credible or you're dangerous. You don't make me feel safe.
Yeah.
But like, I know there'll be some questions out there that people don't want to ask because it's usually about an agent they're talking to at the moment, how they can help. They can all drop me a line. My email is jason@Carr Consulting, CARR consulting.co.nz. Or they can call me on my number, which is 029 771 0077, 029 771 0077. Give me a chat. Feel free to, but first of all, those people who have joined, thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate you coming on and listening. And if you have any questions that you don't want to ask on, please come to me. I'm more than happy to help. I'm the sort of guy, if you work with me, I'm available pretty much 7 days a week. If something goes wrong, I'm there to help. There's nothing much I haven't seen in this business. I have the best legal team working for me doing this as well. I have the best accounting team working for me as well in this industry. So I'm not just, there's a whole lot more to my bow than people think. My contacts are varied and long. And so it's about now these guys and girls that maybe want to take that next step in their careers to become the leaders in their area, to become leaders of change, to help people grow professionally. And we talk a lot about that in the training, how to again, my job, particularly in the day, as I said, is to be able to get you confident enough that you want to take your business to market and you've got something to sell and be proud of. You all have it in your business. More often than not, you just don't know. And that's not your fault. Yeah. And that's okay. It's an easy fix. So there we go. Anything else that we can talk about, or you're done?
I think, Jason, we'll wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining us today. I've recorded it. I'm going to send it out to everyone who you can rewatch it. They can share it with other managers and business owners that they might find this of value. If they want to get in touch with Jason in regards to some more personalized advice and support, feel free to reach out to Jason. I'll throw Jason's email and number into the email as well, along with the recording. So
and to all the people listening out there, please make sure you're speaking to Ben, what he's doing. He's an intelligent young gentleman, and these are people we've got to look after and develop, because one day they could be our bosses, right, Ben? Well, thank you for your time, and thanks for everyone's time. I really appreciate it. Again, don't be afraid to drop me a line and give me a call. I'm driving back up to Kirikiri this afternoon, so I've got 3 hours in the car. Hear from people. So
awesome.
Some people. Thanks very much. Thanks
Ben.
very
much, guys. Cheers for joining us.
Bye now.
Cheers. Bye.